welcome to the Free Cheese, episode 526. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Mark Augustiniak.
Hey.
Matt Selner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week, we're remaking episode 498. Episode 526 brings you the Resident Evil 4 remake from Capcom, released this year. Talk more about the details of the game itself in a bit, but I would like to know, Mark, do you like thrill rides?
Love them.
Matt, what's your favorite thrill ride?
Probably a roller coaster.
It's not a jet ski?
I heard thrill ride and thought amusement parks, really. But no, I'm going to stick with my answer. I do like a good roller coaster.
No, that's what you would think, because that's what a normal person would think. Not every cheesy cornball line that Leon says throughout Resident Evil 4. Yeah, I didn't have much more of an icebreaker than
good one. Hey, good way. Let's fucking wrap it up right here. Hey, you know.
All done. We are all set here with Resident Evil 4 remake conversation. You know what? Why don't we do this before we jump into the details of the game? We added Resident Evil 4 to the list, or specifically, Mark, you added this to the list last year. Do you remember what drove you to want to jump into a brand new game?
Did I add it last year? Holy crap.
This was you.
You're part of your OG list?
For Season 11.
Wait, are we talking about the remake?
No, yeah, the remake.
Okay, okay. Yes, that I remember. I thought for some reason, like, the original, I was like, I don't remember adding the original, but... No, yeah, I was just excited to play this. I think everyone was who had played the original 4. You know, Capcom's been on a pretty good streak with their games lately, and yeah, I thought it'd be very interesting to compare and contrast and see where this ranks on the list and everything.
Yeah, and then we ended up, so kind of when we laid out our schedule for the year, this made sense to put in October because Halloween video games are, you know, just that time of year. But then as we got closer to this game's actual release date, we had a gap in our recording schedule. So, Matt, I think you posited, well, why don't we play the original?
Yeah, it was a pitch. It wasn't like we should play this. It was like, should we play this?
It was, yeah. Because for the listener, we mapped out, 10 games each this year that we wanted on our Season 11 list. And then anything beyond those 10 games has been sort of ad hoc, just like, well, we've got time in the schedule, this game makes sense thematically or whatever. And you'll see some of that later on this month, actually. But yeah, because we the way we mapped it out is the three of us had 10 games apiece across one game each for 10 months, basically. And then we've just kind of plugged in things with other episodes here and there and whatnot.
Right.
So it is kind of interesting playing a game and then its remake all in the same calendar year. And I'm very curious to see where this one ends up on the list. If you want to follow along with the list, you can do that at thefreecheese.com/the list. And of course, we'll check in with that by the end of the episode ourselves. First, to get started, let's point out that Resident Evil 4 was developed by Capcom, published by Capcom. First released on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S on March 24th, 2023. It's also on its way to macOS and iOS. If you would like to play it on either of those platforms and have yet to play it on another. I think it's cool, though, that we need more games on Mac. I'll say that.
Mac, sure, yes.
Yeah, the phone, I should specify, it's not just coming to iOS. You need to have the newer phone, and look into it, do your research. Anyway, it was released for everyone else, March 24th, 2023. The back of the box reads, "Survival is just the beginning. Leon S. Kennedy is tasked with rescuing the U.S. president's kidnapped daughter. Will he be able to overcome the madness that awaits him? Experience the genre-defining classic like never before, with updated visuals, gameplay, and more. I feel like that's pretty apt. I also feel like it's pretty reminiscent of the original, the old box art.
It should. Game is very similar in ways. In other ways, it's not. But story-wise, it's the same.
Yeah, there's some new things we learn throughout this story, right? But yeah, you're right. It is still Resident Evil 4. I think the way I approached the outline for this here episode is really to kind of look at what has changed, right? It's still the same story, right? You are Leon. You are trying to rescue the president's daughter after she's gone missing somewhere vaguely in Europe. And things unfold. You get to a town. Oh, look, there's some people. They don't really like me. Oh, well, now their heads are exploding and there's giant, muscly, knife-wielding tentacle heads attacking me. And then a religion, and then a big thing in a lake. Like, all of the beats are still there, but yeah, there are some nuances to it. I thought we'd talk a bit about what's changed here in this remake. Comment on those changes, the shift in combat, the shift in puzzles, etc., etc. There's a lot of stuff to cover. Talk about a little bit of what is not in the remake, what did not make the cut, including QuickTime events. And then, talk about what we thought of it overall, where we see the series going, and, of course, we'll rank this thing on the list. Let's start with one of the first changes. You can craft ammo in this game, which that was the thing. When was that first introduced? 7 or 8? Or is that brand new to this, and I just am not remembering?
It's been part of the remakes. I don't know.
Is it in 2 and 3?
It's in 2 and 3. I don't know if 7 did it.
I think it did. I think 7 was the first to have the gunpowder.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but you have gunpowder and then small resources and large resources. And depending on how you combine small and large resources and gunpowder, you'll get handgun ammo or rifle ammo, etc. Not much more to that, right? That was
you left out combat knives. You left out combat knives and bolts. If you got a bolt thrower,
bolts, because now we have a new weapon, the bolt thrower, or as I like to call it, a crossbow. Right?
Yeah. Yes, it was just a crossbow,
and it definitely fell off the damage arc quickly.
Yes, very much. But you could attach grenades to that, which I used those quite a bit. The one fight, when you had to fight 2 of those blind idiots in the castle.
Oh, man.
That you have to shoot in the back. Those 2, there's a stack of attachable mines on a shelf in that room. And then once I found those, I was like, all right, I'm going to just shoot the bell with a regular bolt, send you idiots over to that corner, and then just blast you with mines until...
Garradors is the proper name for those blind idiots.
Thank you. I'm glad you've got the, yeah. Thank you for getting the official terms. But yeah, so we got a crossbow in this game. We also, my favorite new addition, the LE5, which is sort of like a powered up SMG kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember that.
It was like the heavier duty.
Was that like the sub? Like what would be like an MP5?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, all right.
I liked that one quite a bit. On the other side of the rifle, you had the, what was it, CQBR? Is that correct? Is that assault rifle? You get pretty. These are like later.
Like I know that's like the assault rifle though, right?
Yeah. But the neat thing is, those are new weapons, but every other weapon is still here. just as you remember it, just as you love it, with all of the respective upgrades, exclusive upgrades, etc. All that whole system is intact. The upgrade system through the merchant. But the neat thing with weapons this time around, you can store them, which you couldn't before.
Right.
If you wanted to clear out your case, you needed to sell your weapons, but now you can store weapons and retrieve them later. You can also sell them, which I found myself doing more often than not, just to make more cash and upgrade other weapons that kind of piqued my interest. Did you guys do that at all, or did you kind of stick with a set?
So I think that was the original point in OG4 was to like you would have one gun, it would reach its limit, you sell it for a better upgrade, and that would get higher numbers. But because or at least I'll speak for myself, but like because I played the older one before, kind of already knew what I wanted in a sense. Like I would try things out, but like I already knew what I was going for, so I didn't really do a lot of trading.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's where I was. Like, all right, I know what pistol I want. Or at least I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get my Red 9. I'm gonna get the semi-automatic rifle, which they call the Stingray in this.
Yeah.
Give me the. I thought I was gonna want the Striker, but I saw how it shot, and I pivoted away from the Striker and stuck with the which I can't remember what shotgun now. I'm looking at all of them. I think it was the assault one. Was it the riot gun? I think that was the one I ended up sticking with.
Is that the one that has the big barrel?
No, the Striker is the one with the big barrel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like I kind of have like my shotgun, my auto rifle, my handgun, and I would mix it. I think that my fourth weapon, once I had a case big enough, would be like an experimental. If I had some funds laying around, or if I found one in the world, because you can find weapons, in the world and stuff. Yeah, no, I kind of stuck with what I knew, tried and true.
Did either of you buy the rocket launcher?
I purposely did not, because I had a feeling I knew what boss is the cheese.
So I did, but I kept that as a separate save file because there was one boss fight I just did not have the patience for, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, my ammo is bad. I'm just in a bad shape. I'm just going to use this, see what happens. Then I was like, you know what? This doesn't feel right. So I went back and beat the boss without it. But it felt good to use it. It was, what's his name? Little dude.
Salazar.
Yeah,
Roman?
it was his boss fight.
His boss fight, so that was another big change in this one. You fight him a bit differently. First off, I don't remember in the first one, but the music for his boss fight in this one was incredible. It was like very whimsical. Was it like that in the first one? I
do not remember it being like that in the original.
It never stood out to me like it did this time, if that's the case.
This really, like, it felt like playing in a music box or something. It was, I loved it. But yeah, the fight itself is dramatically different. This time around, he kind of like moves in these big, like, he's almost like Venom, right? Like he's just got these like sinewy, whatever. He spits venom at you, which you need to avoid.
Sure does.
Like, big columns of venom coming at you, or in some cases these like straight like gunshot attacks. But you're hiding kind of in and around the corners of stairs. The whole, I think at that point I too had very little ammo. It must be something about leading up to that you really are exhausted of your resources. You get to him, and then most of that fight, he's breaking barrels or dropping things that end up, you can pick up more ammo as you're fighting him a lot. So
yeah, because I think you're doing the tower before that.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bad combination. It's almost like the original one. You go from, I believe it's the right hand. The guy you fight in like the sewer area, you can freeze with the freeze tanks and fight.
Yeah, okay.
His like right hand, the guy in the robe. You go from that to the clock tower, which is another like big intense showdown with like enemies, to the Salazar fight. I think it's kind of designed to be a test of attrition there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's brutal. But yeah, so I understand why you would want to bust out a rocket.
It felt good to use. It just, I needed that moment.
Yeah. Was he one hit with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He's also weakness to gold as well.
Gold?
2 golden eggs take him out.
That's hilarious.
What?
I did not know that.
What?
Golden egg
If you
run.
throw 2 golden eggs at him, I don't know if it's still baked into the current speed run, but gold eggs were... Oh, sorry, not the speed run. Gold eggs were encouraged for the S+ runs of the game.
That's funny.
Dead. I did not know that.
Because you can get 2. You get 2 in the game. You can get them at the throne room if you go and revisit before the tower, and you can get one at like the chicken coop part of the
island.
The lake.
Island, yeah. Wow. Okay. Did not know that.
I love it when like these are details you would never know when your first run going through this or anything. But I love that these exist, and like this isn't really like a boss fight strategy or anything. It's just a moment in the game. I just love the detail because it still deals with Salazar. He talks to you through those like old piped speakers that are all throughout the place. You can shoot that speaker and it will ring and he will just stop talking. He'll scream and just stop whatever he was saying because he always gives speeches.
I did not realize that. I never tried that.
I never did it, but I read about it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of those little details in this game, just little things that you can interact with or do or whatever. Surprises. I had one by accident when you are making your way into the castle for the first time, and you first get the cannon, and you have to shoot the big giant that's outside. Because the giant's new, right, as part of that entrance piece. There were like 2 random dudes running, and I shot them I got the cannon. Why wouldn't I, right? And I got a trophy for it, so that was like a nice little bonus surprise. And then I don't know if you needed to, but I certainly, at that point, I was still chasing blue medallions in that area. And while I had the cannon, I just swung up, saw the one that shot it with that.
Makes sense. I never did that, but yeah, it makes sense.
That was good. I was surprised when that worked. Which that was another kind of change. So you have the blue medallions make a return in this game just from the first one. But now you actually have side quests that you can complete for the merchant, who will then reward you with spindles, little gems that you can trade in for more rare or uncommon items, or that's it, right? Like at one point you can get a yellow herb from him, another time you can get a yellow gem from him, etc.
Treasure maps, like you can't get those
maps.
Otherwise.
That
certain
was
attachments for guns.
That was a nice change because in original spindles, nothing. Like, you would just sell them for money.
2,000 percenta.
Yeah, but I feel like you got so many of them. Like they felt very common to acquire. So it's nice to actually get like a better use out of them.
So some of the side quests, I mean, it's like kill 3 rats in this area, kill 2 snakes. Some of them are kind of like mini bosses. You have to, go back. The first one I remember him telling me about was in the castle, in the early part of the castle. After you do the Ashley part where you play as Ashley, and then there's the part where she kind of goes down to the basement, escapes out of all the crazy armor, which another change in this version of the game. But after you kind of meet the merchant there, he's like, I hear there's a super strong fella down there that you need to go take care of, and then
each major section had a mini boss like that.
Yeah, once I saw that one, I was like, oh, I think I missed a bunch of these from before. I
think there's only 3 in total. But you're kind of mentioning of the side, but that's another like kind of just big difference in just design of this game. It's a little bit more open world.
Yeah.
At all points, I know there's kind of segments of Resident Evil OG where it kind of feels open world, but you're kind of on rails. There's only one main objective. There's not really too many secondary, unless like you're in a shoot the blue medallions area. But no, this one there's definitely some backtracking, especially there's opportunities to do in the castle that make you go back because there's doors you haven't unlocked, or you need Ashley's help, and the first time you come upon that area, you don't necessarily have Ashley, so you need to wait for a section where you get her back. Mm-hmm. I would say the lake part of the village area is probably the biggest open world spot there, with all the different spots you can go.
I had a lot of fun with that.
The lake area was really well done. I liked it. Did you guys find a little hidden beginning area as well? It was locked behind a door. If you go back, you would if you were going trophy hunting, you would have to go back there because the bobblehead for that chapter is there. But if you go to where the kind of like the area where Luis was locked up in like the basement.
Yeah.
In that little, like, I think it's called, like, the fishery, if I remember correctly. There's a door when you first get there. There's, like, a side, like, to the left of that house. There's, like, a little side area they need a key for. You need the insignia key. At the lake part, you have that key, and you go back in there. And then there's, like, a little ladder up, and it takes you to, you'll see, like, the altar where the very, very first cutscene of the game takes place. And I think there's, like, a trinket or some kind of treasure up there.
I don't remember if I ran back there or not.
I want to say yes.
I did not know. I did not realize it was there until I was doing my trophy hunting, looking for the. Was it a bobblehead? What are they called? I forget what they're called now. The shooting thing you got to shoot each chapter.
Yeah, the little like colonial somethings. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were just like little Salazars or something.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there was a lot of neat stuff, though. A lot of neat little side stuff. You can go to the shipwreck in the middle. That's where the Red 9 is if you want a Red 9 early. The little chicken coop area, which is totally optional, but that's like for the side quest of the gold egg. You can go and stop the boat and shoot fish, and that's another part of that side quest to get that monster fish by the boathouse. Yeah, that was a neat little area.
Yeah. And along with the merchant, the treasure system has been revamped this time around. So you could not remove gems in the first game, right? Once you placed a gem in a thing, you were locked into the selection you made.
Yep.
Great.
Correct, but they were geared, though, I thought. Like, specific things for specific things. I don't think you could, like, accidentally put the wrong thing in something.
Yeah, unless it was, like, I mean... I don't know if back then if something needed like a red, blue, and yellow gem, I don't know if you could put all blue in there and it would make a difference or not, as long as it was the same shape.
I don't think so, because remember the butterfly lamp, it was like green. What's the common one? It was like, I can't remember, green and red, and I think purple or yellow or something was the uncommon one. Or I can't remember, but that third eye was always the most uncommon. You couldn't substitute it for like another green eye or something.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, like to your point, a lot of it was there wasn't that much like combinations you could do with things. They were kind of preset.
Yeah, and here you can remove gems, you can, retool. I found myself where like I kept holding on to things waiting to get the perfect treasure combination or gem combination.
Me too.
Like, way more than previous game or run throughs through the old 4, but like I knew like if I could just wait, like I had like 2 reds and a yellow, and I'm like, if I just wait I can get that third red, I'm sure of it. And it always paid off.
It's an investment. But, let it sit.
Exactly. Yeah, be patient.
It's a good system.
Yeah,
I like
it would just
clever.
show you. Yeah, like I love that it kept showing you the values of everything.
And I kept having to check it too, because you just hit square to like quickly pull up the gemstone like breakdown of value, and it was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's the way to do it.
And there was no consequence either. You could see like even like with the value of the thing with the different diamonds in it, you could easily rip them out and like sub them out. Like, all right, well maybe I will save my yellows for something else, but I'll put the reds in this one. Get the little bonus instead of waiting for all blues or something.
Right. Puzzles. are completely different from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
They prefer the
Do you guys have a
better.
favorite? Huh?
They prefer the better.
Yeah, I don't think I had anything in here that was like particularly frustrating or anything. Did you guys have a favorite or a least favorite puzzle?
Oh, the least favorite was that computer one on the island that you had to do multiple times.
Oh, where you had to
That
pick
Yeah,
the...
cycle the blocks around or turn on the grids or whatever. That one was extremely frustrating. Oh, I don't shit. I had a
I can't remember if it was different. I think they kept them from the original, like around the church and inside the church. Like outside of the church, you have like or maybe it's near the fishery where it's like all the different symbols you have to line up on that pedestal thing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really know what I was doing. My brain just kind of goes, we're just gonna keep doing it randomly until we get it. And that's kind of my logic with Zelda games. I just kind of like, it feels right, but I don't question it. I just let it go until I get it.
Yeah.
But inside the church, we have to match all the stained glass. I've always liked that one.
That one's a good one. This time around, it felt like harder to do than the last one.
It's
like
because it was a full 360 circle. It wasn't chopped up in like tenths.
Yeah. That might be, yeah. I remember circling the lake twice to get the final little hexagon piece for the puzzle you were talking about, Mark, because I went to where I thought it was and didn't see it, and then I like went all the way around, and I'm like, I know it has to be like where I thought it was. There's no other place, like just logically speaking, they would hide it. Could not find it, so I pulled up a guide, and then it was like it's right there, and I was like, oh yeah, it was right there. I just didn't open the one drawer or whatever it was.
And then I did like the it acted as a key, but like the little like Rubik's Cube thing in the castle, I thought that was a clever way to get those items that were locked. And then also shout out to another puzzle in the castle. It's not necessarily a puzzle, you just have to find the note that says the time, but if you know the time, you can pretty much skip all of Ashley's part.
Oh my gosh. I just looked at the clock right next to the clock. There was a little
Oh.
What do you... Yeah.
Did you get lucky?
There was a little like tabletop clock to the left. If you're looking at that big grandfather clock, you look to the left, there's one on the thing, and it was set to whatever, like 11:04 or something, or
11,
something like that.
10:02. Was it 10:02?
I don't remember. But
one
way,
is like 7, and the other one's like 10:02.
Whatever that one was, I was like, well, I'll just mirror what's on that clock, and it worked, and I was like, oh, cool. And then like later, after I went all the way up through the thing, then I saw the time, like I was like, oh, I was supposed to run up here first, and then so I avoided like all sorts of crazy suits of armor coming alive.
I liked her section.
Yeah, no, it threw me off because depending on the difficulty, there's 2 different times. So like assisted and standard have one time, and hardcore and professional have different. So I was doing my professional run, and I went to skip the section because I was trying to get S+, and I did the time. I think it was like 7 is the one for assisted and standard. I hit it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I looked it up. Yeah, there's 2 different times.
That sucks. So did you platinum this at this point?
Oh yeah, it's been platinum.
Oh, okay. You did get it. I forgot if you got it or not. I remember you were chasing it for a while.
It is a fun platinum. It's one of the most fun platinums I've played in a long time.
Because this one, like, there were certain things I was doing that I was like, that'll be a trophy, and nothing popped. And then you mentioned that the trophy list is very, like...
Yeah, it, like, requires, like,
specific.
5, 6... I think at the bare minimum, you need, like, 4 playthroughs, depending on how you combine. But there's a lot of, like, complete the games only using, or complete the games in these conditions. Yeah. And, like, one of them is, like, a pistol and knife run, or no merchant. Or, like, there's a lot of, like, fun stuff like that. Now, some of those you can use New Game Plus and kind of cheese it. Like, yeah, all right, so I already have, like, a Stingray, the Chicago typewriter, like, all this shit. I really don't need to talk to the merchant. But, you know, no, that's a fun probably the most frustrating trophy if you're not using a guide is the professional S+. But... No, even that though, like it's forgiving because if you beat the game, you get access to the bonus weapons. The bonus weapons are sold to you, and if you root the village right, you get enough money to buy the exclusive, or you get enough spinels to buy the exclusive upgrade. So you can buy the hand cannon, pull the hand cannon or the Chicago typewriter out of storage, and then just buy the exclusive upgrade for infinite ammo on them, and then you're set for your S Plus run. So there's even ways around that. You don't have to do it properly. But yeah, no, running through is just as fun as it was back in the day, running around that Chicago typewriter, just mowing down everything.
Do we know if the DLC has trophies?
Say that one more time, Mark.
The Separate Ways DLC, do we know if that has trophies?
It does have trophies. It does have its own platinum. And I've already looked at the trophy list.
Own platinum?
It does not. No, it does not. Does not have its own platinum. Okay. The trophy list isn't as fun. I think you have to get like S Plus and Professional, so there is a required second playthrough because Professional is not unlocked at the start. But I think if you get that, everything else is covered.
I imagine it's a shorter game too. So
I have completed it. So,
do you feel like the changes to the? Well, I guess not. You got the platinum, but yeah, I mean, like you knew the first one pretty intimately, Matt. I mean, do you feel like the changes made in this game were significant enough to like?
Yeah,
your rhythm of it, or
I have to say, I'm like very, very bad about like, oh man, I don't want this game. I think I was wrong about that for The Last of Us Part 2. I was wrong with it on this one, I think, to an extent, because when he said 4, I was like, what are we doing? It's not that old, but you know, this is definitely the newest, I think, of remakes that we've seen. A lot of the stuff, I mean, Final Fantasy is a PlayStation 1 game. Trying to think about, Resident Evil 2 and 3 are PlayStation 1 games, so, this is a little bit of a time jump for that, but, no, I mean, really, in this era of remakes, there's a few boxes I think you gotta check to make it worthy of a remake, and I think this one, it hits it. It doesn't change the gameplay a lot, but like the quality of life stuff's there. I like the parry system, the fact you can move and aim, revolutionary. But you can do it in this game now. The melee system is different but the same. Same thing with the story. Like story beats, from the beginning to end, the main ones are there, but it could be slightly different. Throw a curveball in. The big thing is the side characters in this get way more developed. Like, I actually care about Luis. Ashley's not fucking annoying. Ashley's got a little badass in this game.
And her outfit rules. I love her.
Yeah. I think Ada gets a little bit more fleshed out as well. And then, and then some of the bad spots got cut. Like, Resident Evil 4, for as good of a game, it does have, like, that dumbass lava room in the castle that comes out of nowhere. Like, why? Like, we cut that. Thank God. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was good. And, not everything they added was great, but it's that it feels familiar and it has the right amount of fan service, but the fan service isn't too distracting from the actual like main campaign. It's what I would want if you're going to do a remake. This is what you need to do. You need to check those boxes, and I think it does a good job of checking all of them.
Yeah, because I think this was more like, I don't know if we said it or if I don't know if we said it on air or off air, if this has already been said, but yeah, it's more of a reimagining, right, of this.
Yeah.
Which, that's how like 2 and 3 were as well. The previous Resident Evil remakes. Yeah. They were more like, how do we reinterpret this for a modern era with a third-person camera? You know what I mean? And this is like, if you played 2, if you played 3, this is 4. This fully makes sense.
I would say 4 is the most faithful, though, to its original source material.
Sure.
2 definitely cuts out some stuff. 3 for sure cuts out some stuff. 4 is the most faithful of all of them, and you can feel that in this length of the game. Because the other ones, I would say, like 2 and 3, I know 2 has 2 different campaigns, but I think combined they're still less than like 15, 20 hours or so. kind of once you know what to do with Claire, you kind of know what to do with Leon. No, this one, it took me like somewhere between like 15 and 20 hours. I don't remember my exact play count on that first time through. That was a chunky little game.
I forgot to look at mine. But yeah, I think I was at like maybe 17 hours, 16, something like that. So yeah, let's talk about Luis. He hangs out for a bit longer in this iteration of the game. He gets to go on a minecart adventure with us. Which
slight change.
I also like that the chainsaw fella gets to pop up in the minecart thing. But we're also like, this time you're controlling the minecart, keeping it from falling off the rails, and you're also shooting at the same time. I'm sorry, I lost track of my notes. Well, I guess this is where spoiler warning, I suppose, because I
feel like we spoiled a lot already, but yeah, sure, really.
I feel like we didn't
nail it in there.
There are a couple of like key story things that change in this one that I think are worth, if you've not played it and you have played the original, or like there's some differences here. So in Luis's case, we get a little bit of a different background to him. We learn he directly worked for Umbrella. What was the previous? He was just like a cop or something.
Wasn't he? I thought he was always a scientist, but I think it was just vague what he was around for. I don't think they've connected him to Umbrella per se. At least I don't remember.
Okay. That makes sense.
It was. I think just when you were starting to find out more is when they.
Oh, that makes sense.
Leon.
Yeah. But this time we find out he worked directly for Umbrella. He's then killed by Krauser in this game, which kind of like sets up Leon's fight with Krauser a bit differently, and leads to another fella who kind of makes more of a prominent appearance by the end of the game. Well, I guess we can jump there. I mean, that's the other big change. I mean, Wesker is. I feel like Wesker's. He was not in 4 at all before, was he?
Separate ways.
Okay. But he's fully in this now.
Yeah.
And I assume he's also in Separate Ways. This
is the first time we've seen Wesker remade and in this new engine.
Oh, so right. He wasn't in 2 or 3, right.
Because he's more involved with Chris and Jill.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, Wesker makes his appearance or whatever, and he's not a terribly big part. Separate Ways is where you'll get more Wesker.
That makes sense.
Also, Wesker's playable now in Mercenaries, I think. I think he was part of the free update. So you can play as him.
Did you guys play around Mercenaries this time around?
I had to.
Right, yeah.
Very, very little. I didn't stick around for it.
The trophy for it wasn't hard, but I did play. I was trying to get like the S+ rank and all the. I didn't get it with every character, but I made sure to get it in each area at least with one character or something.
Sure,
I forgot exactly what I did there, but yeah. No, I played a chunk of it. It was fun. I think it's the most fun they've done with the Mercenaries mode that I've played in a while.
I mean, this is not just for Mercenaries alone, but just this remake. I was really holding out when Mark added this to the list last year, and Capcom also announced that they were working on a VR2 version. I was very like, okay, great, that'll be the version I play. And I waited, and then it finally got confirmed that it's not hitting until winter, so I pulled the trigger a couple weeks back and grabbed the game and jumped into it and whatever. But like, boy, I really wanted to play not only this in VR for the first time, but Mercenaries in VR, because playing I didn't play all the way through Village in VR yet, because not to be shallow, but trophies, man. I played through Village the first time on Xbox, so I got all my achievements on that side. Then I bought it on VR2, started playing through and no trophies are popping as I'm doing things. And I'm like, this is weird. And then I look it up. You don't unlock trophies in VR mode. So it was like, what am I doing? So now I'm gonna replay through Village in third person mode, just for fun and trophies. But anyway, the VR mode in that, it feels so cool to like pull out a gun and reload the clip. Like all like doing that and doing the mercenary stuff would be a lot of fun, I think. So I am looking forward to that update whenever it hits this game.
Are they putting mercenaries in VR too? I thought it was just going to be the main quest.
I thought they're doing it and mercenaries, and then but there's no word on separate ways. I might be wrong about it. I don't know. Maybe they're not doing mercenaries. But I feel like mercenaries was in 8. I don't know.
Mercenaries was in 8, or sorry,
Yeah.
like the mode. I don't know if it was in VR though.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So other than Wesker, we also had some other new enemies that popped up. You had the villagers, what's heads twisted this time around instead of just fully transforming or dying. The Hammer Bro, which Matt, I'll cue to you for the official name of the Hammer Bro with the pig mask.
Oh yes, the pig mask. Oh, brutes,
Bebop?
brutes,
Brutes,
brutes.
okay.
I called them bebops.
That's yeah.
Usually it was like fuck. That's how I refer to them whenever, because they would come at bad times. It's like
They would
fuck.
always show up at the worst time. Yeah.
Pretty sure everybody fell for the one, right? Like when they first introduced it, because it's like they set you up for it.
Oh yeah.
It's when you're in that little like farm area.
Oh I couldn't remember that was the first time. I thought he came, but I think I'm confusing that with mercenaries. When he kicks in that door after you pick up the is it the gear in the drawer or something?
It's something like that.
Yeah,
I remember seeing like something walk through the like by the door, because like the cracks in the door, you can like kind of see there's someone there. I'm like, this game thinks they're smart or something. Then I went to go like jump down or something, and then I was like, well, set myself up. It's fine.
I never, like, for the majority of the game, I never got good at the evade with that. I don't know what it was about him and that hammer. I think I just thought I could overpower him, and I could not. Like, well, later on, you do get... When I upgraded, like, a shotgun to a pretty good point, I got good with, like, two-shotting him, maybe, but I kept thinking I could get him faster than I could, and I would never hit circle in time to evade, so, yeah.
Did anyone have the strat where you would just like aim for the legs, but then knife them when they're down?
A little bit.
No, see, my knife was always I got grabbed, let me hit the quick time event knife. I'd never utilized it the way I should, unless it was an accident where I pulled R2 without hitting L2. Like,
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. I sucked at that. Plus, whatever. The knife had durability as well, but the knife was a welcome, change in this one.
Oh yeah. The fact that you could upgrade it.
Yeah. But the durability of it, like, I felt like I never wanted to use it unless I had to. So running around slashing people with it, I didn't love doing.
I think you could always re-sharpen it though at the merchant.
With the merchant.
You could, but I was always saving up money for that next,
True. Yeah.
Couldn't spare $3,000 to resharpen
no,
your
I
knife.
Would. No, I always would. That and the body armor, like whenever I got to the part where it was like, all right, let's repair these, I would repair them, but then I just feel like, man, that $7,000 could have been a quarter of the way to a new pistol accuracy or whatever it was,
Yeah.
Any other big differences that you guys remember that stood out that were fun, interesting, surprising?
I liked how they treated the red. It's called a summoner, but like the red robe,
Yeah.
I really liked how they treated like his encounters and how like he would run, but when he screamed, he would trigger all the plagas and it would become a fucking like nightmare. Now that first room you encounter him is pretty tough.
I definitely cheesed one of those moments. Maybe it is the first room. Is that the one where like, there's curtains around the doorway and they all just kind of like,
yeah, they can kind of funnel in one at a time.
Yeah, I cheesed it because I was able to snipe that lantern or whatever.
Yeah, I took him.
I took him out as fast as I could, and everyone else just made it easy, just pop him.
More speedrun strats. So when you're getting the 3 statues for that, the 3 things for that statue, when you're going into different rooms.
The goat and the lion.
Yeah, when you cross that bridge and he comes out, then he becomes a fucking nightmare. If I could not tell you the landmark to use, but once you get a feel for the landmark, just toss a heavy grenade in that area and then run. He dies in the animation.
Oh, nice.
I didn't quite do that, but I did die in that room my first attempt. But then I knew he was going to come in there. I knew all of that, so I did do grenade up there because I was like, that guy's going to spawn there. I still had to fight some other ads, but I don't know if
he's just down and the bridge stays up. That's the key thing. So you don't have to mess with the fucking room. You just get the statue and leave.
Nope, didn't have that happen.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, not my first playthrough. Again, this is speedrun strats.
I was still quick to take him out up there. Like, once I saw him, like, he's going to come in there, I was like, all right, let me kill him as he spawns.
Yeah, but then fucker, he's elusive. He will run for the hills.
That overall, though,
I mean, sometimes you got lucky. You were able to just kind of take him down. But I feel like most of the time when I ran into him, I don't want to spoil too much of Separate Ways, but they use the courtyard, like the hedge maze. They have an encounter with him in it, and he's just fucking running all around the hedge maze. It is a fucking nightmare.
Oh, what a dick. Yeah, the hedge maze is different this time around, too. Because I think before, I don't think Ashley was with you.
No. Ashley's not with you.
It was nice to have that inclusion with everything. But yeah, I liked her section of the game as well. I liked the whole like lantern thing, and she didn't feel as helpless, and there wasn't unless I just blocked it out. But I don't think there's a sliding block puzzle.
No, there's not.
No.
No, just you have to get the shadows of those moon shapes right, and that's
it's
you're
very
good.
simple, but
and if you know your clock times, you can skip like half of that section.
Yeah.
They also dropped the U3 fight in this, which well, they drop it in the core game, but judging by Matt's face, it might show up somewhere else.
No, that was heavily rumored from the start, to be fair.
I see. And then, no laser room in the core campaign either.
That's right. I forgot about that. I don't know how I could forget about that. I think that happened. That's after the movie, right? Like the movie did it first.
Yes, it was after the movie. Yeah, because when he died, he didn't die in a very cool way. He just kind of, had Leon makes that fucking dumb noise when he dies in the original.
Turn into a bunch of cubes.
No. The what is it? The emotion engine in PlayStation 2? It couldn't handle it.
Right.
Speaking of Leon, I mean, I know I opened on a little bit of a cornball, but boy, he's just filled with just such cheesy lines. And then there's also, now I can't remember it, and I feel like I know it, and the second I hear it, there was some sound effect he made often after like an encounter, or you know what I'm talking about?
Was it the heavy breathing? Because there was a lot of it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was just like a or something like a.
No, I'm not sure, Joe, with what you were talking about. But dude, the running in this game, because everyone's so out of breath so damn quickly. I'm like, you're a trained special agent to protect the president. You get out of breath in like 5 seconds, dude.
Stressful.
I kept thinking like he was gonna break out. You know what I mean? Like we were gonna have like a strong departure story wise, and like he would come down with the sickness in a heavy way. Like the way that they were like leaning into him, like really heavily breathing, and like I was like, all right, things are getting bad, but.
I did like that touch of detail where like he would start to stagger a little more, or feel a little weird, or like hold his head or something like that.
I like that. I loved that scene in the castle with him and Ashley when Ashley kind of turns there for a second. I was really hoping they would go down that a little bit more, because I think that's a great way to separate them without her being captured every 5 minutes in the castle.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I much would prefer this version than just like
Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely wasn't an annoying character to have around.
No. She wasn't like, as capable as like an Ellie in The Last of Us or something, where like there's active fights happening and you know what I mean? Like you still had to protect her, but
makes sense.
You don't expect her to be, strong on offense or anything like that.
Yeah, she still can't withhold an Aaron grenade throw.
Yeah. No. Did either of you was that your accidental Ashley murder, Matt?
Usually, yeah, or like an explosive of some kind if I had something later game. Or even actually, like, sequential runs, it was probably some kind of explosive.
Explosive, yeah.
I can't remember for me. It didn't happen often. I think I did, like, a very dumb, let me use a shotgun to get her off this dude's shoulders.
Yeah, I shot her right in the head with a pistol by accident. Like,
that would do it.
Like, I was trying to shoot the dude in the leg so he would drop her, and just, like, he turned, I turned right in the head, and, like, it's not like there's no scream, there's no blood, there's no anything. It's just, like, you feel like you suddenly aren't in control of Leon anymore. The screen fades a bit, and it just says, like, mission failed.
It felt a little more difficult to command her this time around. I did like how snappy she was before, but she was also very close all the time, so I guess that's the trade-off.
Yeah, and this it wasn't
to stay back.
It wasn't really even a stay back. It was like loosely follow or follow on my ass. It wasn't like a wait, follow, wait.
Yeah, I
follow.
like that. I like you just wait, just please just wait. Like,
yeah, please fuck off over there. I did like when he got to tell her to go in the dingy lockers at various points. Although that was like a sign of like hell was about to happen. I feel like I remember. I think I remember two lockers vividly.
Yeah.
At each time, it was a fucking new brand of hell.
The first time was the Chainsaw Sisters,
Bella Sisters,
and
then another one you were just
Iron Maiden
because
the Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Sorry, the regenerator with the spikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
was getting my areas mixed up. The Chainsaw Sisters is where you fall through the second floor or whatever, right, of that building.
And then you drop down. Yeah, but there's a locker upstairs and downstairs. So if you actually come, you'll figure it out. You can get her safe one way or the other. I have to mention, we were talking about like minor differences. By far the scariest part of Resident Evil 4 OG is the island and the regenerators section, and I did not think they could make them any more terrifying, and they certainly found a way to do that. I was not looking forward to turning right from that hallway into whatever fucking hell I heard that sound. And they did it perfectly, too. It was like no music, and it's the same fucking sound effect, just in HD. Like, they knew they had it perfect the first time around, so let's just, we won't touch that part.
Yeah.
And they're fuckers, too. And, of course, the first couple you see, you don't even get the... they hide the thermal scope away from you for a bit.
Yes, yeah. That was...
Did anyone accidentally bring out the regenerators in the...
Dude.
So in that... do you know, like in the tank room where the 4 tanks are?
No, so the first time I went in there, I didn't see the scope in the back, and I saw the dude in there, and I was like, all right, I gotta fight these guys. This is what I gotta do. I see the computer terminal back there to upgrade the key card to level 3. I just gotta fight him. So I just picked a random one and started going at it. And then I'm like, oh, there's too many. There's no way. And then I think something started spawning something from outside of the room as well. So I was overwhelmed, dead within minutes.
I think the key card, if you do the key card, it starts spawning the dudes outside.
Okay. So then I get the scope that lets you see through, and then I read the thing, and I'm like, okay, got it. I gotta pick which one of these there is. So I find the dude with the wrench, and I'm like, there's my guy. Let me just start blasting. They all woke up anyway. I don't know what happened, but I had to fight all. I just ended up I killed the one with the wrench, got the wrench, ran back and just got the thing and made it all work and just like held my own and then skirted out of there.
Oh, I remember being very confused by that wrench because I didn't know what it meant. And I was like, wrench? There's like a fucking tool. There's literally a toolbox right next to the thing. I was like, where's the wrench? There's certainly a wrench in his toolbox. Next Matt speedrun tip for you. If you go to the side and use the biosensor, you can line up 2 hearts at the same time and boop. So you don't have to shoot 3 times. You can save yourself a bullet or 2.
Nice. Yeah, that would have been helpful.
Yeah, like once you get out of that area is when I finally started to have ammo struggle.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because it's right before like that construction area, and like there might be another regenerator or 2 just wiggling around. It's like, man, I don't have anything.
Yeah, because you get that section where Ashley has to pull the bridge for you, and there's a couple. Is there an Iron Maiden there, or just the regenerators?
I think there is an Iron Maiden. I'm pretty sure.
And then I did like the mini boss. Anyone see the mini boss there in that section? So like the merchant mini boss, like the side mission thing.
What was the mini boss? Because I might have skipped that one.
It was in that containment room where the 4 pods were. It was like a super Iron Maiden.
Yes, I fought it.
No, I skipped that one.
I think that was why my ammo sucked.
It had like 1,000 hearts in it or something, like, right? Isn't that what it was?
God. Yeah,
it was something crazy.
That was one I never got to finish. So I was like, man, I can't.
Oh,
I wasn't expecting that to be that.
That.
I was like, man, I messed up, man. I just had to quit.
That long way of saying the regenerator areas were very well done. I don't know what else, at least main campaign, I have to say here.
I mean, Krauser was a little different. Like
I like that first Krauser fight a lot.
Yeah, like it.
The first Krauser fight was just Sekiro, dude.
Maybe that's
well.
why.
The counters were way. You had a bigger window.
No, you had a much bigger window.
Yeah. So that was very
not a professional. Professional, you can only parry if it's perfect.
There you go.
Okay, but like before that was an infamous QuickTime event, a very long one.
Yeah,
and then so it was nice to just not have to worry about that, and then, kind of a different ending to it all too. A little bit, or at least it's more fleshed out, I should say.
Yeah. This is a tiny dumb pet peeve, but I never like it in video games when there's a boss that has a health meter, and in this case it's an invisible health meter, but there's a health meter, right? And you deplete that meter, but then the actual kill takes place in a cutscene after you killed the boss. Like,
sure,
it's subtle. This game is not the worst offender in this regard, but it was one of those ones where like you make the final shot and then, or the stab in this case, I think my final thing was a stab in the eye. And then it cuts back to
the end.
No, I'm sorry. No, right. This, you get the rocket launcher, you shoot, but then like the actual thing, when it hits, it cuts to a cutscene, which this wasn't that bad of
a. Yeah, I would say if you're talking about it was the final boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, for some reason with Resident Evil, like I feel like they just never know what to do with their endings, and it's always just like a big blob you fight, and I'm not in it at that point. It's always it's the weakest part for me in every one of these games. It's just this big mess of a mutation. It's like, all right, shoot the glowy bits, Zelda style, and then
I was struggling to dodge its tentacles. And I'm like, after like so long, I'm shooting the yellow orb or whatever the hell it's in. Yeah. Again, every main story beat has been kind of beat to beat. I'm just yelling at the TV, Ada, throw me the rocket. I'd like end it.
And there's one part that I didn't like, but I probably spent the most time on just to experiment for science, and that's the stealth part,
Which one?
where like you're trying to avoid the spotlights to get through the doors.
Oh yeah, that okay.
And it's like the second you trigger like guards walking around, if they see you or if you get caught in the light, then you get bombarded or whatever.
Yeah.
That whole part, like, it's random a little bit. It's not too random, but like the enemy's script is not as on path as I thought it was gonna be. But then, because I wanted to get through it without getting detected at all, so I kept trying and trying and trying, and then I learned that sound doesn't matter. So I just shot out all the spotlights with my loud like sniper rifle, and then but if you pick off an enemy, then that might start to trigger things. But yeah, it just got to a point where I realized that when it came to stealth in that game, sound doesn't exactly matter. It's just don't be in the path of.
Could you clear that section without alerting?
Yeah, eventually, I
like
did.
without like the dude like boar face guy minigun, the new JJ coming out of that, one of the.
I can't remember. I can't remember if that part is scripted or not. But I want to say I spent so much time on that. I want to say that if I did trigger that, it was just him at that point. There was no one else to worry about.
Interesting.
Because like once you snipe far enough from a distance, they don't pick up on it. Like they're the AI is just very dumb. But I remember pulling my hair on that at first because I wanted to get that right. I was like, oh my god, I just don't want to get caught.
I want to mention, because I did talk about it's a fun trophy list. The ways you have to beat the game: you have to complete the main story within 8 hours, which you end up having to do for S+ accomplishments, because there are some of those. Frugalist: complete the main story without using a recovery item. There's Minimalist, which is the knives and handguns, and it has in parentheses excluding specific battles, so, Ada at the end. Complete the main story without talking to the merchant, are like the weird, fun ways of doing it. And then, of course, there's the difficulty ones, like completing the main story in hardcore, S+, defeating your professional S+. No, actually, no, I take that back. You don't have to do professional S+, just hardcore. But the caveat is the difficulties don't stack. I think that's what it was. So you have to do a hardcore run even if you did a professional run. And you still had to, I think, is there an assistant trophy? An assistant win? I can't remember now. But yeah, I think there was something weird with that too, where you had to do the difficulties in a certain order.
That sucks.
No, it's fun.
No, yeah, I mean...
But the fact that they don't stack is...
Yeah, that's a little weird, but, whatever.
I guess, like, that would be incentive, right? I mean, the whole point of these games being remade is that they're available for the duration of this generation, which we're only a few years into at this point. So I imagine, like, this would be a fun thing to come back to. You did this in, like, a week, right?
I'm not going to say a week, but I got to the point where, like, probably like within 10, because I had like a sign off point. Like I would try to do like half the campaign in one sitting, and then like come back the next day or the next sitting to do the rest of it. And that would be like, all right,
on your platinum.
Oh, I have to look at it. You have to give me a second. I don't have it up.
I'm curious, like, how long from release it took you. But yeah, I think that's a cool thing to come back to over time. Sorry, Mark, you were going to say something?
It was just, I think certain challenges also unlocked cosmetics. That's a new thing.
Yeah, that's, yes.
Different costumes or accessories for your characters. And does Ada have any of that?
Yes, she does. She has her own challenge list as well.
Nice. In the core or in separate ways?
Separate ways.
Okay. But, like, you can't swap her outfit in the campaign. You can only swap Leon and Ashley, right?
No, yes. I think you can. Well, sorry, in separate ways you can. She gets her own extras, where I think you can swap out her costumes. Because I think you get I think you wear the dumb dress that she wore from the original like campaign.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, the Resident Evil 4 was on the top of my recent trophies because of Separate Ways. May 7th, because Boredom Kills Me. And I think this released like, it was like late March, right?
Yeah, March 24th. But
yeah,
something else. Yeah,
I was looking at my hours total because I think I only played the main campaign, just messed with stuff, and then left it alone after that. I have about 25 hours clocked on it. It would have been
back.
shorter, but yeah, I think like doing the experimental stuff and different save file from the rocket stuff. I think some of that.
Yeah, if you're doing rocket launcher alts. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other note I have about the game that we've not talked about yet is just out of curiosity. Are we referred to as Yankees often outside of the States?
I certainly hope not.
Well, for baseball purposes, I'm sure, yes. But I just don't feel like I've ever heard. I don't know.
I think only in movies I've seen that, or like,
yeah,
something that's similar along those lines.
I've met people. I've traveled. No one's ever referred to me as a Yankee, but yeah, I feel like movies and video games and anything, it's always Americans or Yankees. I don't get it.
Who says the Yankee line? I don't remember.
That one, it's at the top of my list of like notes while playing, so I'm assuming this was the cops at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because everybody had something cheeky to say in this.
Well, they got killed for calling Leon a Yankee, so you know
that sounds about right.
That's actions have consequences.
Because the other thing I have that I didn't mention that I think is worth pointing out, playing on PlayStation 5 and I assume PS4, with the DualSense, I think this game did a really great job at utilizing the haptic triggers, the speaker and the controller, all of that stuff I think worked really, really well for this game. Whenever the comms would come through, be it Ada or
Louise,
but who's the girl?
Oh shit! Yeah,
Hunnigan.
Hunnigan. Yeah, Hunnigan.
Yes, whenever the sound would come out of the controller rather than the TV, which was just a nice touch. It gave it just like a little bit more, immersion to the game.
So I like when you use the color. Not that you're ever really looking at your DualSense, I would say, but I like when you use the color to reflect your health as well.
Yeah,
I think they did that with
They did it. They did it with Village. I know. I'm sure it goes back a little bit too.
7, I know they did it with as well. Even though, which is weird because no, it's not weird. It's weird for me because I would play in VR,
right?
But you're still holding a DualShock 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
But you obviously can't see the controller unless you're playing non-VR.
But it's cool for people, around you.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
Yeah, they do a good job with the haptics because it's very heavy to shoot a gun in this, and like rate of fire, like especially like when you compare it to like a first person shooter and how easy it is to hold down R2, and then this one is it makes like each trigger press purposeful, which it should be in a Resident Evil game. It was well done.
Like every gun felt subtly different.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with that.
The kickback on the TMP also felt like it was well done.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed. Which you don't see that often from third parties, but Capcom's just out here killing it, man. Putting games on the Macintosh and making controllers work good.
Yeah, more reason to play Separate Ways. You get Wesker talking to you out of your controller.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I gotta grab that.
That's pretty cool.
Probably gonna burn myself out quickly on Resident Evil, but I want to play through Village again in that third person mode because I never did that. And I'll go back to Separate Ways for sure. It's time we rank this thing. Unless there's anything we didn't cover that you guys had that you wanted to...
Look, Leon, this is where they dug up the bugs. I love that line. And I heard it like 8 times or whatever the fuck. Like it's...
Without going into detail, I'll just say... the dog.
Oh, yeah. The dog. Not
the wolf.
a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Yeah. Got it.
Shout out to that.
Yes, always.
That's it.
Oh.
No, yeah, that always, yeah. You can check out the list at thefreecheese.com/thelist, where we've been ranking and reviewing all of these video games. Well, I mean, there's only one question, right?
Where do we start?
Well,
I know where to start. Sorry, which direction do we go from the start? It's tough because it's almost Joe, kind of like last week you said that, like, where do you think Resident Evil goes and what do you see in survival horror? And it's like, well, Sweet Home was an NES game, where it kind of already stretched limitations and whatever. I don't know. I think you got that hardware limitations again. I know. I don't know. I think I'm going to be the sucker that says I think I like the remake better, but it's newer. I don't know. I just think the characters are fleshed out a little bit more. It makes me care about Luis isn't just some womanizing asshole. Ramon Salazar is not as comical. Like, he's not like a cartoon fucking character in this game. I think just for those it's real close to me at the end of the day, but I think just the elevation of that is I think is what puts it over the edge for me.
Mark, what about you?
There is a certain charm that the original has. It's kind of just like just watching like an old campy horror movie where it's just like, it's going to have its moments for sure, but they always have like that dumb cheesy side of it that you kind of learn to appreciate over time. But at the same time, I do think it's better off in the past. Like, going back to it now is fine, but after being spoiled with this RE engine and how you play in that and just modern game mechanics and just how we evolved with just how better streamlined things are with movement and control and combat, and just it's like they learned so much within how long has it been? 20 years? Something like that? Was it 2003 for Resident Evil 4?
Just 4 was 2005.
Oh,
2005.
By the time it finally shipped.
Okay.
But yeah.
So and then like also coming from the roots of the remake era with Capcom, like seeing how 7 played out versus how 2 and 3 played out, and 8, you could kind of see the evolution of them still figuring out how they want their games to play and work. And they always kept what people liked more. Like they've always valued the feedback from all that. So it's cool to see all that kind of come together in this one. I think this is probably their best game with like control wise, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. This feels so good to play.
And I think that's going to have a lasting effect. Yeah, like, even though, like, I like some of the content in original, because everything's there. Obviously, nothing's cut because it's all brand new. So you're always going to be missing something. But I think overall, I do think the remake is a better package.
Yeah, I mean, I miss playing with the Wii remote, but that aside...
Oh, I think the VR will make up for it.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah. No, I think a note that I wrote down while playing this is like, would we be at Resident Evil 12 right now if Capcom hadn't done all these remakes? But I don't think so, because no one would have played 7 or 8 or 9. You know what I mean? Like, I think they needed to kind of pull the audience back in.
Yeah,
also, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, it's just 4 was such an impact in gaming as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a leap. Like, you could put it up there with like Final Fantasy 7 and Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like, it's just one of those types of impacts, and that paved the way for Capcom to lean more into that, but then a little too much into it,
Yeah.
Now they're coming back to their roots, so it's like the remake doesn't have that much of an impact, and that's kind of unfair to say because how can you? You know what I mean? Like you can't recapture that. I get that.
No, never.
So I mean, I think despite that, it's still a pretty damn good game. Like even like it doesn't need that impact for it to be great.
Yeah, I agree. That was like I kind of felt while playing this like we don't need remakes, and I think I've part of my review I wrote like how much I've spent the last few years getting enough original hardware so that now I've got a pretty good spread of stuff that I can effectively play everything I need to, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I still had so much fun playing this game, and I would recommend it to anybody who's played the original or not played the original. I would say play this, right? If you've not played the original, skip it. Play this. You don't need to play the original. I think this one does everything that one did, but it plays so much better. And then if you've played it, then you're still going to have I had a great time with this one. Like 100%. Okay. Well, we've all agreed then this is in the top 10. Oh. And thus it's going to shove the original out of the top 10.
Matt, you were about to say something, right?
I kind of forgot what I was going to say. No, I mean, I'm not. I don't think it was that impactful. Obviously.
Matt, this is going to be a hard one to answer. Do you think that Resident Evil 4 is better than Sonic Frontiers?
Yes.
Wow. Bold. How about Quake 2? I like it over Quake 2.
Toss-up. That's a toss-up. I think you are going to catapult it over Quake 2, which I'm okay with. I'm just me. That's tough.
Mark, Quake 2?
I mean, yeah, short answer is yes. But
Portal 2.
This is so weird because these are all like, I know we said this every episode, but it's like they're so different.
I know.
I could.
I'm good with it above Portal 2, but that's the ceiling for me. But if we also put it below Portal 2, I'm not going to throw a fit.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I could also put it above Eco if we wanted to. I'm not fully against that. But
I'm not picking that fight. I don't care that much. We got it this high. I think at the end of the day, I don't know. One week I judge the list on one thing, and the next week I do another thing. I don't know. At the end of the day, I probably will play Resident Evil 4 if I pick up Portal 2 again. I mean, I did generally like I think the moment-to-moment combat, I don't think we talked about that enough, but like the enemy encounters and everything they are fun to play through.
It's constant. It never lets down. Even when you think you're safe, you're not.
No. And it's fun too, the whole way through. It's never like a burden.
I mean, it's definitely annoying sections. Like any Novistador section is going to fucking suck, but that's just the nature of the enemy. Is designed to be that way. Yeah, no, I think, I will put this above Portal 2, I think.
Above Eco?
I'm the outlier, so I say yes, but I know I'm the outlier.
If we go above Eco, do we go above Hotline?
I think I'm indifferent anywhere between 7 to 5.
Mark?
I think it definitely. Yeah. I just think objectively, it is. Even though I love Hotline and Eco, I do think Resident Evil 4 is objectively better than these.
How about Street Fighter 6?
No, I'd stop it there.
Well, it doesn't have a shit online system.
Well, it doesn't have an online system, so there you go.
Like.
No, I liked World Tour, and I think I'm a lone soldier, and I think Street Fighter 6 still is better.
I
guess that supports my argument. Sorry, I went the wrong way with that.
No, but like between these two Capcom games and then this new beautiful engine and how they're using it and everything overall, I do think Street Fighter 6 is still a more breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like, this is great and it's a lot of fun, but
it's a like Resident Evil 4 is a very good remake. But I think I'm gonna lean more towards an original title over a remake in the end.
Is it 5 or do we drop back down?
It is up to you two between 6 and 5. I'm above Portal for sure. I'm also above Eco, but again, I know I was like much lower than you guys on that one.
I think I like Eco over this. Just for the core tight experience.
I have no problems with it being
between
the new
Eco
7
and Portal 2. So it's a new number 7.
Did I say number 2? Yeah, I meant 7.
No, you got it. Yeah.
I'm thinking Portal 2.
There you have it. Resident Evil 4 is now number 7 and number 11 on our list.
Bump the old one out.
Exactly. Well, while we wrap up here and update the list real quick as we close, which game's next on the remake list?
Well, officially is Rebirth, right?
Rebirth.
Final Fantasy 7, because we're still not done with that.
Sorry,
saga.
I mean
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Yeah. Resident Evil's next.
It's probably going to be 5.
I abstain because I've seen things, and it's DLC.
You can just tell by the fact that they even showed Wesker. It's like, all right, well now.
I will say that I do remember Telemark where I think they go, and I agree with Mark. I think Resident Evil 5 makes the most. Made the most sense after finishing that campaign.
Interesting.
And I will say,
5 seems like in this engine would be cool.
They're also kind of like rewriting some lore as well at the same time. I think they wrote themselves into a terrible fucking corner with 6, and they're trying to slowly redact it.
I feel like that's the end goal here, is to remake 6. And
because Resident Evil 7 and 8 take place in is it Japan that's like fucking demolished?
In 6?
Yeah, what city did they all meet up in at the end? Is it Japan?
I think it's Japan, but they're everywhere in that game.
Right, but like
they're all over
the fucking giant SBOW takes out that whole fucking city.
Yeah, and then you have like the whole like Ada clone thing, and I don't know if they're going to stick to that or not.
Right? Yeah, there's a lot wrong with that story.
But if they do 5, like we have yet to do a co-op game in this engine.
Yeah,
correct.
No. Well,
so that.
Monster Hunter Rise, but yeah, not a Resident Evil.
In Resident Evil, it would be really nice to have that.
Oh shit! Now we know why they came out with Monster Hunter Rise. Just fucking testing grounds. They just happen to sell well. That's all.
Exactly. Well, be sure to come back next week and check out. Also, wait, no Code Veronica, no Zero. You guys are all right.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Like 5 just makes the most sense with the way they're going about things. But I personally, I want to see the first game redone again. Me
too. That's where I really want. I want that first one in this new 2, 3, 4 style.
I'm concerned if they do, because 3 wasn't the most well received, and that was actually not like that was a different studio. I think they outsourced that game. I think feeling
that's because YouTubers told people they shouldn't like 3, but 3 was.
I also
really
thought
good.
that was like an 18.
No, but even even outside the argument, there was so much cut from that game versus 3. I think that was part of its, part of its thing. I don't know if that gets the same kind of treatment for like Code Veronica is dense.
Yeah,
it's a dense little package. Both versions are dense little packages. I guess Zero. Zero has lore. I
Yeah.
don't think it's as dense as Code Veronica, though.
Zero. I would love to see remake because I can't play that original one. I've never beat it. I can't get into it. The inventory stuff sucks. I'd rather that be a co-op game for sure.
Code Veronica also, there's like it's not a bug, but it's a gameplay design where if you can fuck up your inventory when you switch over between characters at some point, and you can like soft lock yourself because you don't have any good equipment.
Yeah, I'm fine with them remaking anything at this point.
I trust what they're going to do.
But I still want a Resident Evil 9.
Yes, very much. I hope that's the next one.
I never played a DLC. The Shadow Rose, was that?
Yeah, me neither.
It just fills in some spots, but in case anyone is thinking there's a different ending to it, it's not. It's the same exact ending from the campaign, but you do get a little more detail about Rose.
I thought it took place after the campaign, or does it lead into the end of the campaign?
It kind of leads into the end of it because you know how there's like that little time jump.
Right. Yeah.
It's that.
Got it.
It's just bridging that gap.
Well, we've wrapped the Resident Evil and Capcom games for the year, but next year we'll come back with an Atari classic in Halloween. Stay tuned. We'll see you then. Until then, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening.